Lord in Christ. All right, shalom. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai brought a thumb to the brothers that are watching. Yahweh Shema Alatan Ba'Shem Yahushai to the sisters that are watching. I'm Priest and Officer Shargapan of the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General YAHANNA. And since 1969, we have been on a mission to teach the so-called blacks, the so-called Native Americans, the so-called Hispanics or Latinos, whatever you want to refer to the people of the lands of North, South, Central, and Caribbean America, that we are the real Jews of the Bible, that we are the real 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And since 1969, that is what we have been accomplishing, right? And today, you've tuned in on Tuesday, which is the Brotherhood class. So, Brotherhood. Today we won't be using the board today, or we're going to be going over a story in Genesis chapter 37. But first, can someone online tell me what is synonymous with brotherhood? Let me check the YouTube real quick. Right, I see Angela Rispers is on YouTube. Sorry, Sister Sitara Banaf is on YouTube. Yashar Banaf is on, Sister Yashar Banaf is on YouTube as well. Let me check Facebook. We got Officer of 50, Adania on here. Sound, Adania, is the sound too low still? How's the sound? If the sound is still too low, let me lower that down a little bit. Can you hear me now? If you can hear me, type in 1. If you can hear me, type the number 1. If you can hear me, type the number 1. Shalom Robert B. from Texas. All right, everyone can hear me. Shalom Ileana J. Shalom. Okay, so today, today obviously is Tuesday. Tuesday we teach the brotherhood class. So can anyone tell me what is synonymous with brotherhood? What is the equivalence of brotherhood? Anyone on YouTube or Facebook feel they know the answer? What is synonymous with brotherhood? Isaiah Asha put family. Yes. I want something more specific. Brotherhood is a weapon, Robert. But I want the equivalent of brotherhood. What's synonymous with brotherhood? Peace and protection. Yes, that's true, but there's something more. Anyone on Facebook or YouTube, what is synonymous with brotherhood? Give you 10 more seconds. Power, yeah, brotherhood brings power to the brotherhood. That's correct. But still looking for a specific word. Synonymous with brotherhood. All right, time's up. So, sisterhood. Let's not ever forget that. Sisterhood is synonymous with brotherhood, right? Because here in the UPK, we teach brothers how to be better brothers to each other and we teach them how to be better brothers to sisters. Same thing goes for the sisters. We teach sisters how to be better sisters to each other. And we also teach sisters how to be better sisters to brothers. This will all bring power to the family. This will all bring peace and protection to the brotherhood and sisterhood. This will all keep unity if we learned real brotherhood and sisterhood, right? Now, I'd like to start off the class with one of my favorite scriptures. Abadia, can you get that the scripture kindly affectionate? I think that's in, is that in Romans or is that in John's?
I want to say it might be in Romans.
Romans, right? Let's get that Baba Kasha.
Romans 12 and 10.
Romans 12 and 10. Let's get that real quick, Baba Kasha. Romans chapter 12, verse 10.
God. Romans 12 and 10. Be kindly affectioned one to another with brotherly love and honor, preferring one another.
Slaggy, let me get it real quick. Romans 12 and 10, correct?
Gone, sir.
Give everyone a few more seconds to get there. Romans chapter 12, verse 10.
Right.
Hold on one second. All right, let's go.
Be kindly affectionate one to another with brotherly love and honor, preferring one another.
So we need to be kindly affectionate to each other, right? We need to show that we love each other. But what is love? Right? Love is not just some emotion, right? Because emotions come and go, but love is an action. Love is something that you prove to someone. Love is something that you do to prove that you actually care for them. You think of them. You have their best interests in mind. You love them, right? So the way we prove that we love God is God told us to obey his commandments. God told us to keep his commandments. So we have to be kindly affectionate, right? We have to show our brothers and show our sisters how affectionate we are towards them, right? We have to have a brotherly love towards one another, sisterly love towards one another, right? We want to make sure that we're keeping the commandments which guide us on how we should treat our brothers and sisters by treating them according to the commandments. If I don't want someone selling my kids drugs, right? I'm not going to sell my brother or my sister's kids drugs. If I don't want to be robbed, right? I'm not going to in turn become a thief and rob from my brother or rob from my sister. If I wouldn't want someone to murder me, I'm not going to go and murder my brother or my sister. So we all have to show brotherly and sisterly love to each other. And the next one, in honor, preferring one another, right? We need to prefer one another, but not because we're being forced to. We need to have this natural desire to be with each other. We need to understand. We need to develop. We need to be brought up. We need to bring our kids up in the mindset that we need to and should and must prefer one another. We should want to be around each other. We should want to live in a neighborhood with our people. We should want to be able to succeed with our people. If we're suffering with our people, we should want to be able to get ourselves and our people out of that oppression or out of that suffering state. Whether through thick or thin, we should prefer one another. Whether we become rich or poor, we should prefer one another. We shouldn't act like some of these celebrities that once, they grow up in poverty, And once they actually become successful, once they actually get some dollars in their pockets, once they actually get some fame and fortune and some money, they want to go and switch up as if
Right.
they never had to eat cereal with water,
Huh.
as if they never had to step over piss coming in and out the elevator, as if rats weren't climbing up and down the garbage chute when they would throw out their garbage in the incinerator, as if they didn't grow up without their parents, as if they didn't bounce around in foster homes or in the juvenile justice system, or was sent to prison for long amounts of time, as if they weren't crack babies, as if they didn't go through the same oppression and hardship and suffering and turmoil that we all have gone through. And then the next thing you know, they want to, our men want to be with white women and Asian women and Arab women and African women who've never known our struggle. Our women want to be with Ben Affleck and want to be with Channing Tatum and want to be with Justin Bieber's, right? They want to be with DJ Khaled. They want to be with Akon. They want to be with all these heathen men, as if they didn't go to the same school as Gerard, as Jerome, as Julian, as Jose, as Manuel, as Shamik, as Shaquille, right? They would rather not choose the same people that they grew up with and saw every single day and struggled with every single day, but they would rather go with someone who does not remind them of their struggle, when our people should be with each other, to remind each other of the struggles that we've gone through, to help build stronger brotherhood and stronger sisterhood amongst our people, amongst our community, so we can change it, so we can rule our neighborhoods, so we can rule our people, right? So let's drop that and let's get into Genesis chapter 37. So today's class is titled The 12 Brothers, Part 1, because there will be other parts to this in regards to the 12 brothers. And if you don't know what I mean, I'm talking about the 12 sons of Israel. I'm talking about Issachar. I'm talking about Reuben. I'm talking about Ephraim, Zabalawan, Levi, Asher, Naphtali, Gad, Manasseh, Simeon, Judah, right? I'm talking about Benjamin. I'm talking about all 12 brothers, right? And I don't want to exclude Joseph, because the reason why there's Manasseh and Ephraim is because they come from Joseph. And before Dan got swallowed or taken into the tribe of Manasseh, we had Dan as a tribe as well, right? So the 12 sons of Israel, or what we know as the 12 sons of Israel, that spawned out and created the 12 families, the 12 tribes that makes up the nation of Israel, right? So I'll give everyone a few moments to turn to Genesis chapter 37, and we're going to start at verse 1. All right, let me just check the Facebook real quick. See any comments? So if anyone has any questions on this particular topic of brotherhood or on chapter 37, please feel free to type those questions in. I'll do my best to answer them. If I don't have the answer for you, I will make sure I have it and address it by next Tuesday. All right, so Facebook is looking good. The YouTube is looking good. All right, so hopefully everyone is on Genesis chapter 37, and we're going to start at verse 1.
Slack it 1 sec, sir.
No, sir, brother, take your time. How you feeling? You feeling better?
Yeah, Khan.
Okay.
This is Genesis 37 and 1.
Make sure you're speaking into the mic, all right?
Khan. This is Genesis 37 and 1. And Jacob dwelt in the land wherein his father was a stranger, in the land of Canaan.
So here we're learning, right, that Jacob and his family end up living in the land of Canaan, which is what became to be known as the land of Israel. Right? Keep going, Baba Shah.
2. These are the generations of Jacob. Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brethren.
So prior to chapter 37, they go over Jacob's 12 sons that are born from his 4 women, from his 4 wives, right? So now we're talking about Joseph. Continue off where it says Joseph.
Being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brethren.
So Joseph is out in the field, out in the pasture, right? Out in the plains with his 11 other brothers feeding the flock, feeding the sheep, the lambs, the goats, the cattle, the oxes, the bulls, the donkeys, right? Keep going.
And with his brethren, and the lad was with the sons of Bala, and with the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives. And Joseph brought unto his father their evil report. 3. Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children.
So we learned that Israel, right, loved Joseph more than all his other children, more than all the other 11 sons and daughters that he may have, right? Keep going.
Because he was the son of his old age.
And the reason why Jacob loved Joseph so much is at his old age, right? Who would have thought that he could have another child? Who would have thought that Jacob can be at such an old age that he can have another son? But he did. And thank the Lord that he was able to, because without Joseph, when we go on to the next parts, without Joseph, we probably would have died, unless the Lord gave us another route for salvation at this particular time to survive, right? Keep going.
And he made him a coat of many colors.
So what is this saying, right? We're reading that we're reading that Jacob favored his youngest son. Well, the son that's mentioned here, Joseph. He loved him the most. He was more special to him than any of his other children, right? Now, there's nothing wrong with this. There's absolutely nothing wrong with Jacob, or should I say Israel, making Joseph his most precious son, right? Having Joseph be the most peculiar to him, most special to him, right? Because if I'm not mistaken, if we go back to Genesis, I think is what, 25?
What you looking for, sir?
If we go to Genesis chapter 25 and verse 5, I'll read. As you read, we look at Abraham, and we read about all the other children that he ends up having. And out of all these children that he ends up having, on verse 5 it says, and Abraham gave all that he had unto Isaac. Right? So Abraham, even though he had other children, other sons, Isaac was the most special one to him. Isaac was the one that was most beloved. Isaac was the one that was favored the most by his father Abraham. And Abraham, even though Isaac wasn't the firstborn, Abraham gave Isaac everything. Land and gold and sheep. Of course, as you continue reading, he gave gifts to his other children. But Isaac received the overwhelming bulk of the inheritance, right? He received the overwhelming bulk of the possessions and properties that his father Abraham had. So there's nothing wrong with a father having a favorite son or having a favorite daughter. Nothing wrong with that, right? Nothing wrong for a father to give a token of his love or a token to his son that he loves the most and favors the most and holds with higher regards. So he gives Joseph a coat made of many colors: red, blue, burgundy, yellow, green, right? It has many colors. Let's just think of it as that it has the colors of the rainbow on it. It's so special. It's so bright. It's so vibrant. You can't miss it. When you see someone wearing with this coat, you know that this person is loved to the utmost degree. This person is special to someone that gave him that particular coat, right? Keep reading.
John 4. And when his brethren saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren.
Now what? Say that again.
When his brethren saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren.
Now, there's nothing wrong with a father showing his son love, right? Nothing wrong. Nothing wrong with a father having other children and they are seeing how their father treats this particular son or daughter of his. Nothing wrong with that, right? But there is something wrong when that child that's receiving all this special attention and special love realizes and knows that his other siblings see him getting glory, see him being treated with favoritism, see him being showered with gifts, see him being given a special jacket, a special coat, a special cloak, and they've never received anything of the sorts from their father. Because, right, us being niggas in the world, right? When we get something, we want to show it off. We want to brag about it. We want to show everyone we can. We go to school in the newest Nikes. We want to show our best friends. We want to show the kids that think that we're cool. We want to show the kids that are losers. Don't come next to me. I got these nice ass Jordans on. This table's only for people with the newest Jordans, right? We want to show off and brag to our people. That's because outside of this truth, we're out of the spirit of real brotherhood and real sisterhood, right? Keep reading.
God. They hated him. And
They what?
Not hated him.
They hated Joseph. Is it because that their dad gave Joseph a coat and not them? Or was it because Joseph got a coat and he was showing it off? Right? Why else would someone be jealous? How would my brothers know that I received the newest pair of Jordans unless they see me with it? Unless I'm showing them off constantly. Unless I'm rubbing it in their face. Unless I'm telling them dad loves me more than you, right? Otherwise, my brothers wouldn't know I got a fresh new pair of Jordans if I only wear them once in a while or if I kept them in the box, right? How else would Joseph's brothers know that he got a special coat from their father unless Joseph is constantly wearing it or constantly talking about it or constantly showing off or constantly saying dad loves me and not you or constantly saying do any of you guys have a special coat made with all these beautiful colors? I think not, right? This is why brothers can end up hating each other. This is why sisters can end up hating each other. Because us being outside this truth and inside the world, we tend to brag about things that we hold dear and special towards us. We want to rub it into other people's faces that we have something that they don't. That we get more love and they don't. Right? So his brothers hated Joseph. They hated Joseph for the favoritism. They hated Joseph for going around and bragging about this coat that he's always with and rubbing it in their faces, right? And the reason why we can say this is as we read further down, there's more proof that Joseph is just being extremely unbrotherly to his brothers. Just running his mouth off, talking about things and saying that, well, we'll get there. Let's keep reading.
Khan 5.
No, the end of 4, please.
And could not speak peaceably unto him.
And because of Joseph's actions, because of Joseph was so unbrotherly to his brothers, right? His brothers hated him so much that they couldn't speak peaceably to him. It was always some type of hostility. There was always some type of animosity whenever they were around each other and talking to each other, right? And can you imagine about you? Hey guys, dad loves me more than you. And then one of the other brothers saying, well, you still a little bitch. You still a little punk. You still can't wipe your ass correctly. That's why we get more women than you. Dad gave me a special coat and not you. Well, you know what? I'm still better looking than you. Right? We always, because of being out the spirit, right? And not being humble and not being brotherly to each other. Because of our jealousy, they can end up having us speak unkindly to one another. It could have us not wanting to prefer one another. Baba Kashah, keep going. Verse 5.
And Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it his brethren.
And this is why I said Joseph gave his brothers more reasons to hate him, more reasons to not speak peaceably onto him. Let me just check the chat real quick. Our Jenny 2K809 Gaming. On the 12 chart, there's many classes of the about the 12 chart you can go to. You can also check out Captain Kataz's lecture that is based, I believe it's free on Patreon and free on Cross the Line Radio, the radio show. It's a free lecture that you can get all the understanding you want on the 12 tribe chart, all right? But if you have any questions on this topic that we're going over now, feel free to ask and I can answer them for you. Let me check Facebook. Facebook's looking good, all right? Right, so Joseph was just giving his brothers more ammunition to hate him, more ammunition to not love him, to not respect him, to not want to prefer him hanging around each other, right? And Joseph dreamed the dream, and he told it to his brethren. Keep reading.
And they hated him yet the more.
Now, why would they hate him? Because he told them, that's like my brother, Officer Abadia, telling me a dream about the new Doctor Strange movie that's coming out. He had a dream about it, and I hate him for it. Why would I hate him for telling me a dream he had about Doctor Strange and his broken fingers that he uses magic with? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's stupid. So we have to find a deeper meaning, a deeper understanding of what it means when Joseph dreamed the dream and told his brothers. This wasn't just no ordinary dream. This was something that Joseph was receiving, or Joseph was dreaming about, that pertains to his brothers and himself. Now, his brothers already hate him. His brothers already don't want to speak kindly to him. Joseph knows this. Joseph knows that they hate him. Joseph knows that they're jealous of him. So what could Joseph possibly have dreamed and told his brothers about that will make his brothers hate him more? Maybe it was a dream that had something to do about them being beneath him. Maybe it was a dream about something that had them serving Joseph and Joseph being ruler over them. Maybe they were in a low position and he was in a high position. Or maybe it was a dream about that all 11 brothers were going to have to come to Joseph, the youngest brother, for help. Right? No one wants to hear that. I don't want to hear a dream. In the world, we don't want to hear a dream about another brother dreaming that he's better than us and that we're serving him, or that we're lesser than him in his dream. Right? This is what's making his brothers hate him more. Joseph is telling his brothers about a dream that he had where his brothers were in a position lower than him. That his brothers were in a position where they had to come for him for help and salvation and saving. Right? Let's keep reading Baba Kashah.
And 6, and he said unto them, Hear I pray you this dream which I have dreamed. 7, for
Wait,
behold,
hold on, I'm sorry. Let me just turn the page. Can you read that one more time, brother? Hold on one
6,
second.
and he said unto them, Hear I pray you this dream which I have dreamed.
Oop, I turned too much. Here I pray you this dream which I have dreamed. And Joseph is basically telling them, listen, guys, you guys need to listen and take heed to this dream I'm telling you. Right? Keep going.
7, for behold, we were binding sheaves in the field.
Listen, so we're binding sheaves in the field. If I'm not mistaken, that's if I'm not mistaken, that's when you're harvesting crop, right? Like wheat or flour or grain, and you're tying it up or you're rolling it into a bundle so that way it can be, you can have it all in one location.
Wheat,
yeah, like a bundle of wheat. You can have it all in one location and makes it easier to transport. Instead of having to go to one and pick it up, you get them all together, you wrap them up, you bind them up, makes it easier to put on the wagon and have the ass, roll it away. So he's telling them, listen, check it out. This is the dream. We were all in the field. We're all binding up sheaves. We're all tying up the wheats that we're harvesting. Keep going.
And lo, my sheaf arose.
And my sheep arose. Instead of just instead of the sheaf just laying on the ground, it rose up in the air. It was like it was standing or floating. Keep going.
And also stood upright.
And it was standing straight up. It wasn't on its side, like we normally just lay them on its sides. Right? Keep going.
And behold, your sheaves stood round about.
And guess what? My sheaf was standing in the middle. And all your sheaves, one for all of you brothers, were circling around my sheaf. And my sheaf was right in the middle. And my sheaf was standing up straighter and higher and taller than all of yours. And all of your sheaves were standing up, but in a lower state, surrounding me because I'm in the middle. Keep going.
And made obeisance to my sheaf.
And made what?
Obeisance to my sheaf.
That's O. Can you check the door real quick, Baba Shah? Obeisance, right? If you all have your Bibles open, you see this word here. It's spelled O-B-E-I-S-A-N-C-E. Obeisance. Now let's find out what this word means. Baba Shah, if you don't mind, brother, looking at the word obeisance. Or if anyone that's on the chat, look up the word obeisance. Let me know what it means. Let's figure this out together. Obeisance, right? So Joseph's sheaf is standing tall in the middle, surrounded by one sheaf for each of his 11 brothers circling around him. And his brother's sheaves made obeisance to his sheaf. What does this mean? What does obeisance mean? Or what can we conclude from this word or the statement that's being made? Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Okay.
Obeisance.
Obeisance. Differential respect.
Keep going.
Gesture expressing deferential respect, such as a bow or courtesy.
Showing differential respect. Doing what?
A gesture expressing differential respect.
Like a what?
Such as a bow or courtesy.
Like a bow or a courtesy. So let's put two and two together, right? Joseph is telling his brothers that I'm in the middle, and you all are around me, bowing down to me, showing respect to me. This is what Joseph is basically saying. His dream was that he was in the center, surrounded by his 11 brothers, and they all were showing him respect by bowing to him, giving him a low head nod, right? Showing him respect. Listen, his brothers already hate him. Do you think it was a wise move to tell your brothers that they're all going to bow down to you? Do you think that's a way to foster love and brotherhood amongst you and your brothers who already have beef? That's definitely not advisable to tell your brothers that you had a dream that they're going to bow down to you in respect when they already hate you, when they don't like being around you, they don't like speaking to you, they don't like seeing you. But Joseph, in his young age, in his youth, in his immaturity, wasn't wise enough to think that maybe I should not tell my brothers this. He was not wise enough to think about the consequences of further pissing his brothers off, of furthering the anger that his brothers have towards him. Am I right about you? Like, what would you think? Your little brother telling you, you're going to bow down to me. Right? That wouldn't make me happy. That wouldn't make Abadia happy. That wouldn't make any man happy hearing that his little brother is saying that he's going to bow down to him. when you already have beef, when you already have issues with each other. It's not wise on Joseph's part. He's not doing it because of his immaturity and in his youth. He's not making a wise decision here. He's causing more strife between him and his brothers when there should be absolutely no strife between him and his brothers. Here in the UPK, if there is any type of strife between brothers, it gets solved immediately. We're ordered to go to him and him alone to solve our problems. We're ordered to get counsel on our problems. We're ordered to solve these issues because nothing is going to stand in the way of this brotherhood. Nothing's going to stand in the way of this sisterhood. And if you are a weak person, if you are an emotional person, if you are a person that just runs their mouth and holds grudges, then we will remove you from this brotherhood and sisterhood because you don't know how to be a real brother and a real sister. Children act like that. And this is why Joseph, a child, a teenager, a 17-year-old, still wet behind the ears and can't wipe his ass correctly, he does not understand how to foster and build brotherhood amongst him and his brothers. He does not get the concept that telling his brothers these things will only make them more angrier, will only make them hate him more, will only increase the animosity that is wedged in between their brotherhood, right? Any questions? Keep going, Baba Shah.
God.
Around verse 8, brother.
Huh?
Around verse 8.
Yeah, God. And his brethren said to him, shalt thou indeed reign over us?
And his brothers, they're angry now. So you're going to rule over us? You're going to reign over us? Is that what you're saying, Joseph? Reuben, Judah, Benjamin, Levi, right? Dan, Naphtali, Asher. You're going to rule over us? You're going to be our rulers. We're going to bow down to you, Joseph. Is that what you're telling us? Keep going.
Or shall thou indeed have dominion over us?
And you same thing. You're going to rule over us. You're going to reign over us. We're going to be your servants. Right? Keep going.
And they hated him yet the more.
What?
They hated him yet the more.
And they hated him even more because of this. But what do you think Joseph said? Well, my dream, I'm ruling over you. My sheaf is in the middle. You guys are all bowing down to me. Yeah. Right? This unwise, this Joseph, this immature Joseph, still in his youth, is pushing the brotherhood, is tearing the brotherhood that he has with his brothers further and further apart. His brothers are hating him more and more and more. Right? Keep going, Baba Shah.
And they hated him yet the more for his dreams.
Because he had what?
Dreams.
Was it just one?
His dreams.
It was plural. D-R-E-A-M-S. Plural. So that means Joseph had multiple dreams. Many dreams where he's basically telling his brothers, I'm going to rule over you. You're going to serve me. I'm going to be standing on high. You're going to be bowing down to me real low. He had multiple dreams where he's telling his brothers, reminding his brothers that, yeah, I'm better than you guys. I'm going to be on top of you guys, and you guys are going to be beneath me. You're going to be bowing down to me like servants bow down to a king or to a ruler. Keep going, Baba Shah.
God.
The end of 8.
And they hated him yet the more for his dreams and for his words.
And his what?
Words.
And Joseph was not being polite or nice saying it. Like, I can imagine, right? Abadia, can you picture this? Joseph telling his brothers, I had a crazy dream where I was in the middle, you guys were around me, bowing down to me. I don't know what the heck it means. I'm so confused by it. Why do I keep having these dreams? Maybe that might spark your interest. Well, yeah, why are you having these dreams, Joseph? Let's talk about it. What do you think? Let's ask Dad, what could it mean? But no, Joseph's words weren't words that weren't words that were kind to his brothers, weren't words that were nice, right? Imagine having a dream and telling your brothers, yeah, you're all going to bow down to me and I'm going to rule over you. Imagine someone telling you that in the most disrespectful, the most rudest way possible. So not only was Joseph's dreams making his brothers madder and more angry with him, but the words that Joseph chose, the manner that Joseph spoke about it, kept speaking about it, kept reminding his brothers about it, would reasonably make them angry. No one wants to constantly hear. Yeah, go ahead.
No,
What?
no.
What are you about to say? Go ahead.
Not that I was talking myself. I'm good.
Oh, no one wants to hear constantly, you're gonna be my effing slave. I'm gonna roll over you. You guys are whack. You guys are nothing. I'm on top. I'm gonna be the boss. I'm gonna be the ruler. Right? No one wants to constantly hear those things. Keep on, Mogasha.
Gone on God 9, and he dreamed yet another dream.
And Joseph had another dream. Go ahead, brother.
God, and told it his brethren, and said, Behold, I have dreamed a dream more.
And then guess what? Joseph still hasn't understand or grasped the concept. Maybe he should just keep his mouth shut. Right? Maybe he should stop telling his brothers the dreams that he's having, because the dreams just involve him on top and his brothers beneath him. His dreams and his words just keep fostering more hatred and animosity towards him from his brothers. What, this is so funny, right? I don't want to use the word funny. This is proof of why when you come into the I.S.U.P.K as a man, you are to shut your mouth, dress in all black for 90 days before you can even be considered, a minimum of 90 days, before you can even be considered to get your Hebrew name and become a trooper, right? Because we don't want brothers in here that are smart asses. I know me, I came into the truth, I was a smart ass. I had to learn the hard way to shut my mouth. That's something that I still work and strive to. Because we all get checked, we all get reminded of things so we can be better, right? I don't want to accidentally piss off my brother Abadia for being a smart ass to him, for being condescending or rude to him, or to any brother, and vice versa. Joseph hasn't learned how to shut his mouth. As the youngest brother out of the 11, he hasn't, out of the 12, he hasn't learned to shut his mouth. He hasn't learned to be observant. Go ahead, brother.
Second youngest.
Yes, you're right. He hasn't learned to be observant and to listen. He just wants to run his mouth and talk. Because if he was observant, he would see his brothers getting angry. Or maybe he's just so much in his youth and so immature, then maybe he doesn't care about his brothers being angry. He can't comprehend the concept of what he's doing is wrong, causing his brothers to hate him so much. You sure about it? You want to say anything?
No, I'm 12.
Okay, brother. Go ahead. Keep reading, Baba Shah. It says, Behold.
And behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obeisance to me.
And he tells his brothers, Behold, the sun up right there in the sky, the moon up in there in the sky, and 11 stars made obeisance to me. So he's telling his brothers that the sun, the moon, and 11 stars all bowed down to me, all gave me respect. Now, how many brothers did he have at this time?
11.
Joseph had 11 brothers, and he said there was 11 stars, right? Joseph said the sun and the moon. Doesn't Joseph have a father and mother? Right? Keep going.
10. And he told it to his father and his brethren.
And he told it to his what?
Father and his brethren.
So he told it to his father and his brethren.
And his father rebuked him.
And his father rebuked him. Now,
said,
what does that mean? What does rebuke mean? What you said?
Salakia, I gotta look it up.
Go ahead, brother. Everyone should be looking up the word rebuke. What does the word rebuke mean? Let me see. Anyone got it in Facebook? Anyone got it in the YouTube? To everyone that's joining us now, shalom, shabbatam to the brothers. Shalom, Yahweh Shema Atam B'Hashem Yeshai to the sisters. What does rebuke mean? Go ahead, Abadi.
Rebuke, express sharp disapproval or criticism.
Express sharp disapproval. Sorry, say it again.
Sharp disapproval or criticism of.
To express sharp disapproval or criticism of. So he told it to his fathers and he told it to his brothers, and his father basically checked him. His father basically showed him disapproval, sharp criticism of. Why? Joseph, your brothers hate you. Your brothers are upset with you because of the things that you've been doing and saying to them. It's not wise for you to say things like this to them. Right? It's not right for you to tell your brothers that they're going to bow down to you. That's not the brotherly thing to do. Right? Let me see. Hold on. Robert B. put rebuke, express sharp disapproval or criticism of someone because of their behavior or actions. You're absolutely right. Joseph's behavior and actions are disgusting. Why would you go and basically abusing your brothers? Why would you go and say horrible things to your brothers and say things to them that will make them angry to you? Right? And Joseph is being checked, criticized, rebuked by his father for saying these things. He's out of pocket. He's so much in his youth. He's only 17. He can barely wipe it. We all heard this when we were probably younger. You can't even wipe your ass correctly. Right? And he's saying all these things to his brothers that are just building and growing hatred towards him. Right? Keep going, Baba Shah.
John, sir.
Rebuked him.
And it rebuked him and said unto him, what is this dream that thou hast dreamed?
Now his father's saying, what is this dream that you've been dreaming? Tell me about it. Keep going.
Shall I and thy mother and thy brethren indeed come to bow down ourselves to thee to the earth?
Remember, he said the sun, the moon, and the 11 stars bowed down to him. And his father is saying, so me, your mother, and your 11 brothers are going to come and bow down? We're going to bow ourselves down to thee? Keep going.
Khan. To the earth? 11, and his brethren envied him.
And his brothers what?
Envied him.
And his brothers just grew more jealous of Joseph. Keep going.
But his father observed the saying.
Because there's a prophecy that was made. Joseph telling his father this dream made Israel know that this is something to look out for, that something of this sort, something that's going to fit this description is going to happen. And he's going to stick to this saying. He's going to be cautious of this coming to pass. Right? He's going to be on the lookout for this to happen. What will make him and his wife and his brothers bow down to Joseph? Something is going to happen that's going to make this come true. So he's going to be cautious and mindful. Look out for this prophecy, right? But his brothers don't want to hear that shit, right? His brothers don't want to hear any of that. His brothers are jealous of him because of these dreams that Joseph has been having and sharing with them. because of the words that Joseph are speaking to them in a manner of where he's better than them. Keep going, Baba Shah. Verse 12.
And his brethren went to feed their father's flock in Shechem.
So, I guess we could say days passed, weeks passed, right? His brothers all went out to feed the father's flock in a place called Shechem, right? Shechem?
Good. Sir. 13. And Israel said unto Joseph, do not thy brethren feed the flock in Shechem?
And Jacob, Israel, talking to his son Joseph, like, aren't your brothers out working in the fields, feeding the sheep? Right? Keep going.
Come, and I will send thee unto them.
Come, I ain't going to have you sitting on your behind here all day long doing nothing, talking about your dreams. You're going to put yourself to work. Come with me, and I'm going to send you to them so you can go work with them. Keep going.
And he said to him, here am I. 14. And he said to him, go, I pray thee, see whether it be well with thy brethren and well with the flock.
Now go. I'm going to send you off. I want you to go check up on your brothers, see if it's okay, see if they are all right. Go be brotherly to your brothers. Go check on them. See if they're thirsty. See if they're hungry. See if they need some water or they need some food. See how the flock is doing. Keep going.
And bring me word again.
And then come back and let me know how they're doing so I can send you back with whatever it is that they need. Keep going.
So he sent him out of the valley of Hebron, and he came to Shechem.
And Joseph went on his journey to go be with his brothers. Right? Keep going.
Good. 15. And a certain man found him, and behold, he was wandering in the field. And the man asked him, saying, what seekest thou?
Now Joseph gets to the place that he thinks his brothers are at, and he's just there wandering like, where the heck is my brothers at? Where's Judah and Levi and Benjamin and Asher? Where? Right? Oh, sorry, Benjamin wasn't born yet, right? Or Benjamin's
born
he's
already.
a baby.
Yeah, Benjamin would probably only be like 10 years old.
Yeah. So he's a baby. So Benjamin wouldn't be there.
Right.
But Judah, Levi, Asher, Naphtali, Dan.
So right? If I may, him leaving was the last time he ever saw Benjamin.
Yes. So he's there trying to look for Zabalawan, right? Where are all my brothers at? And a man sees him wandering the fields and wandering the plains like a chicken without a head, and asks Joseph, yo, what are you looking for? What are you trying to find? Who are you searching for? Keep going.
And he said, I seek my brethren. Tell me, I pray thee, where they feed their flocks.
And Joseph tells the man, I'm looking for my brothers. They're supposed to be here feeding the sheep and the donkeys and the goats and lambs, and I don't see them anywhere. Do you know where they at? Do you know where they are? Keep going.
17. And the man said, they are departed hence, for I heard them say, let us go to Dothan.
And the man tells them, they were here. I heard them say they were going to leave and go somewhere else. They went to a place called Dothan. Keep going. 18.
When they saw him afar off.
The end of 17.
Salakia. And Joseph went after his brethren and found them in Dothan.
So Joseph went to Dothan and finally found his brothers. Keep going.
And when they saw him afar off, even before he came near unto them, they conspired against him to slay him.
They did what?
They conspired against him to slay him.
Listen, his brothers hated Joseph so much that when they saw him from a distance, when they saw him 100 yards away coming to them, they all gathered together, were talking amongst themselves, and tried to devise a plan where they can kill their baby brother, where they can kill their younger brother. Joseph, through his dreams, through his showing off, through bragging, through the words that he used to speak to his brothers, drove his brothers to the point where they wanted to kill him. So they were coming up with a plan on how they can kill their baby brother Joseph, their young brother Joseph. Right? Keep going, Baba Shah.
Good. And they said one to another, behold, this dreamer cometh.
And they said what?
One to another, behold, this dreamer cometh.
And it wasn't a sign of respect. Behold, the dreamer cometh. They were mocking him. They were making fun of him because of how much anger and hatred they had to him. That's like saying, look, here comes this douchebag coming. Look, here comes this jerk off. Look, here comes this buzz killer, right? Here in Harlem, growing up, we would say this Buzz Killington, right? Here comes this Buzz Killington, right? Coming over. He's going to come and ruin everything. This jerk off, this a-hole, right? No one likes him. No one wants to be around him. Look, he's coming. Keep going.
20. Now, come now, therefore, and let us slay him and cast him into some pit, and we will say some evil beasts have devoured him.
What? That is crazy. Please read that again, Baba Gashan.
Come now, therefore, and let us slay him.
They said, let us come together. Let's get him and let's kill him. They basically said, let's put this little nigga to death. Let's put Joseph to death. Keep going.
And cast him into some pit.
And what?
Cast him into some pit.
And let's find some random asshole, right? And let's throw his dead body in there. Imagine your brothers saying that about you. Brothers say that about each other all the time out these doors. Outside of every UPK door, these are what brothers are doing to each other. They're conspiring to kill each other. There's no brotherhood in these streets. There's no brotherhood outside of this truth. Your own flesh and blood. You guys share the same father, same mother, and that brother will still try to find a way to conspire to kill you because of something they don't like about you, because of something that you do that they don't like, because of something that you're doing that's getting in the way of what they're doing, and they want to move you from the situation. They want to remove you from the equation. They want to subtract you and cut you out of the picture. His own brothers wanted to murder him and throw him in some random ass hole. Keep going, Baba Shah.
21. And Reuben, Salakia. Some evil beasts have devoured him.
And they were going to make up a lie. Some evil beast killed poor Joseph. They were willing to lie. They were willing to kill their brother. Sorry, not kill. They were willing to murder their own brother. They're willing to throw his body, his dead body, in some random pit. And they were ready to say, tell their father and their mothers and their sisters and everyone back home, poor Joseph, some random animal came. Some lion, tiger, bear came and killed him. Right? Keep going, Baba Shah.
And we will see what will become of his dreams.
And when we do this, we'll see if his dreams come true. In order for us to bow down to him and for him to rule over us, he has to be alive, right? We can't bow down to him and we can't serve him and we can't go to him for help if he's dead, right? Keep going.
21. And Reuben heard it.
And what?
Reuben heard it.
And Reuben is the eldest son of Israel, the eldest son of Jacob. So he heard his other brothers conspiring to kill Joseph. He heard Gad, Naphtali, Asher, Issachar, Zebulun, Simeon, Levi, Judah. He heard his brothers coming up with the plan to murder Joseph, to throw his dead body into a pit, to lie to Reuben, to lie to their father Jacob, to lie to their mothers, to lie to their other brothers and other sisters. They were going to lie and said that an animal killed Joseph. And Reuben heard this plot that they were coming up with. Keep going.
John. Heard it, and he delivered him out of their hands and said, let us not kill him.
And Reuben, showing some brotherhood. Now imagine Reuben's upset with Joseph too. Reuben is angry with his brother Joseph too. Reuben is jealous of his brother Joseph too. But at this very moment, Reuben is showing some brotherhood. Reuben is showing Joseph some mercy by doing what? Read it again, Baba Shah. Verse 21.
And Reuben heard it, and he delivered him out of their hands and said, let us not kill him.
Reuben overheard their plot to murder Joseph. And Reuben saved his life. He stopped his brothers from following through and going through with the plan to murder Joseph, and told his brothers, listen, hey, we're not about to murder our little brother. Yes, he's an asshole. Yes, he brags about his rainbow colored cloak, right? Yes, he doesn't speak kindly to us and tells us that we're going to serve him and bow down to him because that's what his dreams say, right? But listen, that's our little brother. We're not going to murder him. Keep going, verse 22.
22, and Reuben said unto them, shed no blood.
Let's not shed any blood. Let's not kill him.
But cast him into this pit that is in the wilderness.
But you know what we can do? Since we're not going to kill him, right? Let's just beat him up a bit. Punch him in the face, kick him, let's take his cloak and we'll throw him in and we'll throw him into a pit, right? Keep going.
That he might rid him out of their hands.
Well, you missed the part.
And lay no hand upon him.
Keep going.
That he might rid him out of their hands, to deliver him to his father again.
Right, but Reuben didn't want them to murder him, because at the end of the day, he wanted to be able to come back home with his brother, so that way the son that Jacob loved so much would return home. Imagine the devastation that your father's going to go through, his favorite son not ever coming home again, being told that he was died by some random animal, right? So Reuben was saving his younger brother Joseph from absolute murder by his other brothers. So let's just beat him up a little bit, throw him in the pit, leave him there, teach him a little lesson. Next time not to run his mouth so much. And when we're done, we'll take him out the pit and bring him back home to dad. So we won't have to hear no shit from dad, basically. Right? Keep going.
Come. 23, and it came to pass when Joseph was coming to his brethren, that they stripped Joseph out of his coat.
So when Joseph finally reached his brothers, they jumped on him. They beat him up. They take his coat, right? Keep going.
His coat of many colors that was on him. 24, and they took him and cast him into a pit.
They beat him up. They dragged him. They threw him into the pit.
And the pit was empty. There was no water in it.
And fortunately for him, it was a dry pit. It was empty, so he wouldn't be able to drown, right? Maybe Joseph didn't know how to swim. Maybe there might be snakes and poisonous animals living in the waters of the pit. Who knows, right? Keep going.
And they sat down to eat bread, and they lifted up their eyes and looked, and behold, the company of Ishmaelites.
Stop. Let's read that from the beginning again.
25. And they sat down to eat bread.
And after they kicked his behind, smacked him up, kicked him, pushed him, shoved him, pulled his hair, right? Bruised him up a bit, stole his jacket, his coat, coat of many colors, threw him in the pit. You know what they did? They all stretched, found a nice rock or log to sit on, and they ate as if nothing happened. They decided to go eat some bread. Keep going.
A company of Ishmaelites came from Gilead with their camels, bearing spicery and balm and myrrh, going to carry it down to Egypt.
And while they're just chilling, eating their bread, drinking their water, after they just beat up their younger brother and threw him in a pit, they're seeing these travelers, these merchants, these businessmen, right? Going by on camels on their way to Egypt. Keep going.
26, and Judah said unto his brethren, what profit is it if we slay our brother and conceal his blood?
Now Judah ends up telling his brothers, hey guys, listen. What do we gain if we end up killing Joseph and concealing his body, lying about how he died? What do we gain from that? We're going to go back home. Dad is going to be miserable. He's going to be crying, sulking all around. His favorite son is dead. He's probably going to send search parties out to go find the body of Joseph. He's going to make our lives miserable. We should have been looking out for him. all this stuff. He knew we hated Joseph. We're going to hear all this nonsense coming from dad. So we're not going to profit anything if we went through with our plan. Keep going.
Then their come and let us sell him to the Ishmaelites.
What?
And let us sell him to the Ishmaelites.
So they said, you know what? Let's make some money off of this. Let's profit off of this. We already beat him up. We took his jacket. We took his coat, right? His special coat that he loves so much. We threw him into a pit. He's sitting there probably cold, bleeding, crying, hungry, thirsty. Let's make some money. Let's sell him to these merchants. Let's sell him to these heathens, right? Let's sell them and have them take Joseph to Egypt so we'll never see him again. Keep going, Baba Shah. After Ishmaelites?
Salagia, for 20 pieces of silver.
No, and let us not. And let not.
And let not our hand be upon him.
So let's sell him, and let's not kill him. Keep going.
For he is our brother and our flesh.
Oh, what?
He is our brother and our flesh.
So after they beat the crap out of him, they said what?
He is our brother and our flesh.
After they take his favorite coat made of many colors and jump him, they said what?
He is our brother and our flesh.
After they throw him in the pit, Joseph's probably in the pit crying. He just got beat up by his brothers, right? They're supposed to love me, but they did this to me. This young 17-year-old, right? He's probably hungry now, probably thirsty now. Out, the sun is probably beaming down on him while he's in this pit. And they said what?
He is our brother and our flesh.
They're about to sell him, but they said what?
He is our brother and our flesh.
That's very hypocritical, because you don't do those things to your brother and to your flesh. Just like Joseph had been bragging to his brothers and to his flesh. Joseph should have never spoken down on his brethren when he was telling them about his dreams, because and his flesh. Here in the I.S.U.P.K, every single Black, Hispanic, and Native American man and woman are our brothers, are our sisters, and they are our flesh. And we must always keep that in mind when dealing with our brothers and sisters in the truth and even outside the truth. For all the men that are in Hebrew Academy, let's give them a round of applause. Listen, you guys are going to suffer. You guys are going to bleed. You guys are going to cry. You guys are going to get banged up, bruised up. You guys are going to be made to be angry and furious. But don't you ever forget, we are your brothers and we are your flesh. We would never have you do something that we haven't done already or that we would do and do again, because you are our brothers and you are our flesh. Don't ever forget, just because that man is not in the I.S.U.P.K, that is your brother and that is your flesh. That sister outside the school is your sister and she is your. You are to treat every Black, Hispanic, and Native American man, woman, and child, whether they're in the school or out the school, as your brother, as your sister, because they are your flesh. Your job is to bring your brother, bring your sister, and bring your flesh into this truth so they can be saved, so they can turn back to following our Father. But these brothers, they were so upset, so angry, so filled with jealousy and hatred and hostility towards their young brother that they did all these horrible things to him because of all the horrible things that he's done to them. And now, when they're about to sell him like some meat, or sell him like some wheat, you know, he's our brother and he's our flesh.
Right.
Real brothers don't do that. Sisters don't do that. Keep going, Abadia. The end of 27.
Come. And his brethren were content.
And his brothers were like, you know what? You're right. You know, after all, he is our brother. He is our flesh. Let's sell him. Right? They all agree with this plan. Keep going. Sorry, they all agree with this plan except for Reuben, because Reuben is not there at this moment. Keep going.
Then there passed by Midianites, merchantmen, and they drew and lifted up Joseph out of the pit.
And more merchantmen came, Midianites, and Jacob and the other brothers went, got Joseph, brought him up out of the pit, and they did what?
And sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver.
And they sold their little brother to heathens. Of all people, heathens, disgusting, filthy heathens, for 20 pieces of silver. That's all they were able to, that's all they got for selling their own brother, their own flesh. They got 20 pieces of silver for selling their own flesh and blood to heathens. That's how much they hated Joseph. Keep going. The end of 28.
God. And they brought Joseph into Egypt.
And these heathens carried Joseph all the way down to Egypt. Right? Keep going. Wait, let me just check YouTube real quick. See if there's any questions or comments. Yep, no questions or comments. Let me check the Facebook. All right, looks like we're good here. All right. Okay, keep going, Baba Shah.
Khan. 29. And Reuben returned into the pit.
And what?
Reuben returned unto the pit. And
this is how you know Reuben wasn't with Judah and the other brothers when they were coming up with this plan to sell him. Because Reuben was going to go get his brother Joseph out of the pit. Your big brother said, you know what? I think you had enough. Let me go help you. Maybe after I go get you out of this hole in the ground, maybe you'll have a different attitude in how you treat your brothers going forward, right? Keep going.
And behold, Joseph was not in the pit.
And look, Reuben was surprised and shocked to see that his little brother was not in the pit. Keep going.
And he rent his clothes.
And he what?
Rent his clothes.
And now Reuben is going crazy. Where is Joseph? Where's my little brother? What the hell happened to him? I left him here. I knew he wasn't going anywhere. He can't climb out. Where the heck can he be? Where the hell is he? Where is Joseph? Dad is going to go crazy if I don't find Joseph. If I don't come back home with Joseph, there's going to be some problems. Keep going.
30. And he returned unto his brethren and said, the child is not, and I, whither shall I go?
And he goes to his brothers. Ayo, Akim, brothers, where the hell's Joseph? He's not in the pit where I left him. What the hell am I going to do? What are we going to do? Where should I go to go find him? Should I go this way, that way? Where the hell is Joseph? Where could he have gone? What could have happened to Joseph? Keep going.
31. And they took Joseph's coat and killed a kid of the goats and dipped the coat in the blood.
And listen, one or two things happened. Either his brothers lied to Reuben and said, we don't know what the hell happened. He was there. Or they told Reuben and said, we killed him. We don't know where he's at. We don't know how to get him back. But either way, the end result was, let's go get a kid of the goats. Let's go kill the kid of the goat. Dip Joseph's favorite coat that our father gave to him in the blood. Right? And we can tell our dad that Joseph is dead. That he died. Some animal killed him. Either way, one of those two things happened when Reuben went to go speak to his brothers. Keep going.
And dipped the coat in the blood. 32. And they sent the coat of many colors, and they brought it to their father and said, this have we found. Know now whether it be thy son's coat or not. Or no.
And they dipped the blood. They dipped Joseph's favorite coat, the one his father gave them, in the blood. They all end up traveling back home, going to their father, telling their dad, listen, we found this. We found this coat. Do you think it belongs to Joseph? Yes or no? Keep going.
Khan. He said, Khan. 33, and he knew it and said, it is my son's coat.
And when Israel saw that coat, he said, yes, that is my son's coat. My special, my most beautiful son that I love so much. The apple of my eye, my jewel, my precious son. I love the most, my favorite son. That is his coat. Where is he? Keep going.
And Jacob rent his clothes.
No. We're still on 33. After.
Oh, and evil beasts have devoured him.
And then they lied to their father. They said an evil beast has devoured him. Some lion came and killed him. Some tiger, some bear, some rhinoceros, some crazy animal came and killed Joseph. And we found Joseph's coat filled with blood. Keep going.
Joseph is without doubt rent in pieces.
Listen, Dad, there's no doubt in our minds that Joseph is dead. Body parts probably scattered all over. You know, bones here, bones there. Animals are probably eating him. You know, he's dead, Dad. We only found his jacket. There's no way he could survive. Look at all this blood. He must have suffered greatly for there to be so much blood on that special jacket you gave to your special and most favorite son. Keep going.
Khan, sir. And Jacob rent his clothes.
What?
Rent his clothes.
Keep going.
And put sackcloth upon his loins, and mourned for his son many days.
And Jacob, Israel, tore his clothes off, put sackcloth on, and he was in mourning for Joseph for many days. It could have been days, it could have been weeks. It's just saying many days. It could have been months that or even years. Actually, it would be years, right? Because when he went to Egypt, he got locked away for a few years, right? Then his brothers, well, we're gonna get there in a different part. But he was mourning for the death of his son, for what he thought was the death of his son, for a long time. His baby boy, right? His most precious son, the son that he loved the most. He should have never let him out of his sight. The son that was having prophetic dreams. The son that was supposed to fulfill the prophecies that were told to him is now dead. What is he ever going to do? What is Israel ever going to do? Praying to God that his son is okay, that his son comes back, that the Lord finds some way to have mercy on him to make his son alive again, right? Keep going.
Khan. 35, and all his sons and all his daughters rose up to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted.
And his sons, the ones that sold his brother, his sons, the one that sold his favorite son to slavery, tried to comfort their own father. It's going to be okay, Dad. His sons, the ones that lied to him and said that he was murdered by some ravenous beast, came to go comfort their father. His sisters came to go comfort their father. And he refused all of their advances. He refused all their attempts to make him feel better, to help him get over his loss. He refused it. Keep going.
But he refused to be comforted, and he said, for I will go down into the grave unto my son mourning.
And he said, I'm going to die mourning the death of my son. Let me die now. I'm going to die right now mourning for the loss of my son. Keep going.
Thus his father wept for him.
And every day he cried for the loss of his son, for what he thought was the death of his son. For him having, can you imagine being a father, having wild thoughts, some beast just biting away at his neck and tearing him to pieces, all the nightmares he probably had of his son's death? Meanwhile, his other sons were lying to him. Meanwhile, his sons beat up Joseph, stole his favorite coat, threw him in a pit, left him there for God knows how long, sold him as a slave for 20 pieces of silver, and then come back home and lie to their dad that he was murdered, put to death, eaten alive. And their dad is just there crying every day, thinking that his son is dead, when they did this most horrible thing to their brother. Keep going.
Count, sir. 36. And Midianites sold him into Egypt, officer of Pharaoh's and captain of the guard.
Right? And the Midianites, they sold him, when they got into Egypt, they sold him to Egyptians. They sold him to Potiphar, who was an officer of Pharaoh, right? And he was the captain of the guard. Right? They sold him again. Now, this is a very good story, right? That goes over many aspects of brotherhood, right? We learn about bragging, gloating, right? Magnifying yourself, glorifying yourself, right? I think there's a scripture in Proverbs 27. Let's go to Proverbs 27 real quick.
Proverbs 27, you said?
Yeah, Proverbs 27. Proverbs chapter 27. Let's start at verse 1. Proverbs chapter 27, verse 1. This is very critical, right? This is an example that we can attribute to this story in Genesis chapter 37, right? Read, Baba Kasha.
Sir. Proverbs 27 and 1. Boast not thyself of tomorrow, not what a day may bring forth.
Right? Don't boast about tomorrow. Don't tell yourself about what things are going to happen tomorrow, because tomorrow may not come for you, right? You having a dream that you're going to win the lottery tomorrow, and you convincing yourself that you're going to win the lotto tomorrow, it might not happen, right? Keep going.
2. Let another man praise thee.
What?
Let another man praise thee.
Joseph should not have been praising himself. Joseph should not have been telling his brothers these dreams where he's on top and they're on the bottom, where he's ruling and they're serving, where he's standing up and they're bowing to him. He should not have been praising himself. He should have been letting other men praise him for the things that he's going to do or the things that he has done. Keep going.
Let another man praise thee, and not thine own mouth, a stranger and not thine own lips.
Right? Let other men tell you how great you are, right? Because here in the UPK, right, we all get ranked. Abadia is 1,000. I'm an officer of 1,000 as well. We got brother Officer Yatazar that went from a 500 to a 5,000. We got brother Bakwash that went from an officer of 50 to 500. We got a bunch of troopers, and then we got Trooper Paratazar that got jumped up to an officer of 50 at the cookout, right? Men will be praised by other men, and that's how it should be. Abadia shouldn't praise himself for being great in the Hebrew or the history. Other men should praise Abadia for his knowledge of Hebrew and history. I shouldn't praise myself for being able to speak well or write good papers. Other people should be able to praise me and say, Ashargapan, he's good at speaking. He's good at organizing his thoughts and writing papers. Other men should be praising you. Let another man praise thee. Let the people who serve you or who you serve praise thee. Let them say, no, Officer Abadia, he's a good brother. He does this, that, and the third. The gifts that we all have, and there are many different gifts. Not everyone is good at speaking. Not everyone is good at the Hebrew. Not everyone is good at retaining information. Not everyone is good at doing certain things, but we all have our gifts, and we should let other people acknowledge us for our gifts. We should not be bragging about how great we are as a speaker or how great we are because we dress in the best garments all the time. Excuse me. Because that can bring jealousy.
Right.
That can harvest animosity between you and your brothers. And this is exactly what Joseph was doing by telling his brothers that they're going to show obeisance to him. They were going to show differential respect by bowing or bending over or lowering themselves to him. He was going to be on top and they're going to be serving him. Bragging about his jacket, his coat, the special coat with all these beautiful colors that their father gave him and did not give to them. That's how you breed jealousy. That's how you tear apart brotherhood. Right? You know what Joseph should have done? Joseph should have just kept his mouth shut whenever he wore his coat. Joseph should have not worn his coat around his brothers since they were already jealous of him. That he was being treated more special, that he was being treated special, and they weren't by their father. But Joseph, being young and wet behind the ears, and being immature and in his youth, he can't understand his actions and the consequences that come about of his actions. He's so young, he's reckless and negligent on what he's doing, right? What else we got here in 37? Right? We got brothers hating each other. We're not allowed to hate each other. We're not allowed to have anger and animosity to each other. Abadi Baba Shah, if you can be so kind enough, can you get me that scripture where it says, let not the sun go down on your anger? Baba Shah? And I'll check the chat real quick. Ileana J, you put he just wanted his brothers to know about his dreams. Well, if he just wanted to let his brothers know about his dreams, they wouldn't be angry at his words. Because they were angry at his dreams, and they were also angry at his words. It says and states at the end of chapter 37, verse 8, at the end it says, and they hated him yet the more for his dreams. So they hated him for his dreams, them telling him of him telling them his dreams, and for his words. So Joseph is saying is going above and beyond, is doing extra. They're not just hating him for Joseph telling them about his dreams. Joseph is obviously saying other things that are causing them to hate him for his words. All right? Because they wouldn't know about his dreams unless he spoke to them. And in order to speak, you got to say words. So it's separating him telling them about his dreams and the words that he's also speaking to his brothers. So it's more than just wanting to share his dreams. He was being very disrespectful and unbrotherly with his words, with how he spoke to his brothers. All right? Let me check.
4:26.
Hold on 1 second. Let me just check Facebook real quick. All right, we're good on Facebook. Okay. All right. Can you read that? Read the book, chapter, and verse, Baba Kasha?
Ephesians 4:26. Be ye angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath.
The scripture says, be ye angry. It's okay to be angry. You know, maybe Abadi and I one day will get into an argument. Maybe I will eat the last jerk chicken patty that Abadi put in the freezer. And now Abadi is angry at me, right? Maybe he's angry because I did that. But it said, sin not. Abadi should not be angry to the point where it's going to cause him to sin. He should not let the sun go down he should not let the sun go down and him still angry and furious with me for eating the last jerk chicken patty that he bought for himself and I didn't know and I ate it. Right? That's not brotherly. That's not sisterly. And his brothers, Joseph's brothers, we should have seen some mention that they spoke to Joseph about there should be some mention of how Joseph's brothers spoke to Joseph about the way he speaks to them, how they feel about him bragging about his dreams, on how he tells them that they're going to bow down to him and it's going to come true and it's going to happen and they're going to serve him. If they were so angry, they should have spoken to Joseph about it. That's what brothers do. That's what sisters do. They go to him and him alone and they speak about the problems that they have with each other. So that way it can be squashed, it can be solved, it can be resolved and buried, right? It can be left in the dirt so they can move on being happy with each other. But instead, Joseph's brothers decided to let the sun go down on their anger. They were angry so much and hated Joseph so much that they sinned against their own brother. They conspired to murder him. They conspired to leave his dead body in a ditch. They conspired to lie and say that an animal killed him and devoured him. They beat their little brother up and threw him in a ditch. They sold his brother to heathens for 20 pieces and then lied to their father who loved Joseph so much and told him that he was eaten alive and killed and murdered by an animal. They sinned against their brother because of the anger, the hatred, the animosity that grew inside of them because of how Joseph spoke to them. How he told them of their dreams and bragged about it. Bragged about his shiny coat, telling them that dad only loves him and not them. Imagine what a spoiled brat or a spoiled brother and sister would say to other brothers and sisters. That's what Joseph was doing, being a young 17-year-old. You gonna say something?
Nah.
No. Right? What else we got in here? That scripture where it says, if a man be caught with a stolen man, is that in Deuteronomy? Can we get that, Baba Kasha? They ended up selling their little brother, putting their little brother in the hands of another man. You got it? Can you read it, Baba Kasha?
Deuteronomy 24:7.
Deuteronomy chapter 24 and verse 7.
If a man be found stealing any of his brethren of the children of Israel.
What?
Any of his brethren of the children of Israel.
They basically were stealing their little brother from their father. Because Joseph belongs to Jacob. That's his son. They stole their little brother to sell him. Keep going.
And maketh merchandise of him.
And
maketh merchandise of him.
They sold him for money. They sold him for 20 pieces of silver. They made merchandise of their own baby brother. They sold him to heathens like you would sell spoiled meat to heathens. They sold him to heathens like you would sell a blanket to heathens. He was no longer a brother. He was no longer a child of Israel. He was just some merchandise. They treated him like some bread, some loaves of bread and some grain and sold him off for 20 pieces of silver. That's not what brothers do. We don't sell each other. We don't put each other in harm's way. We don't sell each other out. We don't betray each other in here. Keep going.
Gone. Or selleth him.
Oh, what?
Selleth him.
And they sold his brother. You know who else did that? You know who else treated their brother like merchandise and sold his brother? Judas sold his brother Christ, Yahawashi, Jesus Christ that you all know in the English. Judas sold Jesus Christ out. He sold him like merchandise. He sold him out to the Romans for what? 30 pieces, 30 pieces,
shekels.
30 shekels. Was that silver or gold shekels?
Silver.
30 pieces of silver shekels. Judas sold Jesus Christ to the Romans to be put to death, to be thrown in jail and tortured, to be put onto the cross and murdered. Right? That's what Judas did. That's what Judah, Simeon, Levi, Asher, Issachar, Naphtali, Dan, that's what they all did to their baby brother, to their little brother Joseph. They sold him out like Judas sold Christ. Right? And in here, we don't do that in the I.S.U.P.K. If anything, we fight for our brothers and fight for our sisters. We go out and rescue our brothers and rescue our sisters. You know, there was a big hurricane that just hit Louisiana. I guarantee you that the men in the I.S.U.P.K. down there have been instructed to go save their brothers and save their sisters. I guarantee you that the men down there have been instructed to evacuate and rescue their brothers and rescue their sisters. Like they did back, what was it, last year when they had the floods down there too, right? The Captain Kahan helped organize lifeboats and food and to have his brothers and sisters rescued out of these danger zones, right? If I'm not mistaken, Abadia, General Mahima himself went down there to go oversee the rescue of our people down there.
Right.
This is what we do in the I.S.U.P.K. We don't our brothers and sisters like the Christian church does, like the Catholic church does, like the Muslim mosque does. Here in the I.S.U.P.K., we are in the business of saving our people. Right? What time is it?
8:41.
8:41. All right, a few more and then we'll end class. Right? Let me just check the chat real quick. All right, no more questions, okay? And here we also do not lie to each other.
Right.
You lying, the truth will eventually come out. You prolonging and maintaining that lie, you will eventually be exposed of your wickedness and your sin and your deceit, and you are going to be made an example out of. When the men that take account after your life find out, you will be made to serve as an example. You will be checked. There will be punishment and judgment because we hold every man and woman in here accountable. And what these brothers did, lying to their father that Joseph was murdered by an animal when he was sold like a piece of meat, like cloth. Those lies eventually will come to light, right? Because when we go into the other parts, these brothers that beat him up and threw him in pieces of silver, thinking they're never going to see Joseph again. They're going to see Joseph again. And we'll find out whether or not these dreams will come true. We're going to find out if they're actually going to bow down, show obeisance to Joseph. We'll find out. Because again, remember, your lying eventually will come out. The truth will be exposed. The truth will be brought to light. All right. And with that, I pass the class over to priest and officer. Actually, let me just check to see if there's any more comments or questions.
Not that I see.
YouTube looks good. Brother Robert, Shalom Shabbatah, what's going on, brother? Trooper Kashaka War, Shalom Shabbatah. Abadi, can you put the logout sheet in the chats, Baba Kasha?
Logout sheets.
Yes, please. All right. And Baba Kasha, if you can read the announcement, Baba Kasha. And now I pass the class over to my brother, priest and officer of 1,000 Abadia. Clap it up. Go ahead, brother. Yeah, you might need that.
We have the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. We've been on these streets. Salakia. Started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are being saluted only. They are here to shut themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8-10, means tenth in the Hebrew, ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Most High gives you. Give to Treasury Department or teacher, priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations. That'll be next Monday, the memorial blowing the trumpets.
That's what, September
6th? Yeah, Khan.
September 6th? What time?
7 o'clock.
Let them know that the next day we're going to have food, remember? Don't we have food the next day?
What do you mean?
Don't we serve food the next day at the class on the 7th?
La.
Tuesday?
You talking about the Day of Atonement or memorial blowing the trumpets?
Memorial blowing the trumpets.
La, memorial blowing the trumpets. The feast is that day.
Oh, yeah, correct.
Khan.
I don't know that.
Memorial blowing the trumpets will be a feast that night on Monday. For those who don't know, line your stomachs. Line your stomachs. Make sure you got something in your stomach. Because after memorial blowing the trumpet, I believe a week later is Day of Atonement. If anyone wants, check the bulletin board for any upcoming events. Anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black: boots, shirts, pants, headband, and scarf. That I imagine. We're gonna give one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, I imagine Shabbat. I imagine Barak. Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Baruch Yad Matah. Dismissed.